Brian Anunga and Dado Valenzuela, but they look to Evander and Denke to be the game changers, and veteran Kai Kamara, newly signed to his 12th MLS club, is among the substitutes tonight. These are the players to watch, presented by RBC Wealth Management, proud partner of Major League Soccer.
For Toronto, Lorenzo Insigne last match turned in a top-level performance for the first time this season. The Italian, he looked committed, he was constantly involved, and he showed his quality. Scored his first goal since last summer in MLS play, and the way he celebrated, it showed that he does care. For tonight, Cincinnati, they're well organized, tough to break down. Insigne, he needs to be clever to create opportunities. And for Cincinnati, their star Evander, he's been showing up night in, night out. Early shouts for MVP, 7 goals, 2 assists against Austin this past Saturday. He provided a couple sensational moments, ball into Valenzuela, and then this. His goal from distance showed why he's the best player in the league at hitting from distance.
Those were the players to watch, presented by RBC Wealth Management, proud partner of Major League Soccer. Cincinnati and Toronto. MLS is back with midweek action. It's coming up live on Apple TV.
Hydration body wash. Honeymoon in Fiji. Moisturize with vitamin B3.
You better not be using all the Old Spice.
Ooh, can you get my bag?
What's up, soccer fans? How we doing tonight? The TFC Reds hosting FC Cincinnati. Come on, boys. We have to get another victory and build off of that victory over DC United in the last one out. Lorenzo and Fede looked decent. I'll say they looked good. Corbino had a good moment there with that feed into Lorenzo Insigne. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Here on TSI, we are live. It's a triple header. The Blue Jays are playing the Rays right now. The Leafs are also in Game 5 against the Panthers, and that's where I'm going to be hanging out, running all these streams, having a good time, being Toronto Sports Insider. That's what they call me. So here I am. TSI is in the house, and don't forget the lucky Blue Jays hat. We have got to make it happen tonight, Insiders. Thank you for being here. Please do all the normal YouTube things. Please like this stream if you're having a good time listening to TFC or Cincinnati. As well, please share this link out. Let's get more soccer fans to build an awesome community here. And don't forget, the link that's pinned in the chat is to our Playoff Pulse campaign, where we're raising money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto. So thank you. Let's get back to the soccer. We appreciate you being here. Let's go, Reds. Come on, let's get this thing started. Let's get the victory tonight, boys. Come on. Come on, like Berna would say. Come on. Him and Maddie at the Leafs game was awesome. That was really cool. Go TFC, go. TFC. TFC. Let's go. Wrong way.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Coop, you're fired. I need to know how long I could float on what I got.
Alimony, child support, 2 houses, cars. 6 months, tops.
It was just a quick fix to pay some bills.
He's just going through something.
Get out of there!
I was wrong about all the rules. It turns out there are no rules.
Hey soccer fans, DraftKings Sportsbook is your home for live betting and has you covered on all your MLS betting action this season with a range of markets spanning from props on goal scorers and assists to futures like MLS Cup winner, MVP, top scorer and more. DraftKings Sportsbook has an exclusive offer for soccer fans. Just download the app and use the promo code when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
This is the win probability. Cincinnati have a great record here, and the Eastern Conference leaders are favoured tonight to claim a 4th away win of the campaign. TFC, though, winners here for the first time this season on Saturday. They have a 31.4% chance, we believe, of a win here tonight. Very experienced referee in charge tonight. Jair Marufo will be the man in the middle and leading our team of officials on site at BMO Field. Across the border, down to the south, and in the VAR seat tonight, Chris Penso, assisted by Christian Clerc. So this man is lighting up Major League Soccer, a true MVP contender. Evander, whether he's scoring, whether he's creating, he's making headlines in MLS with every week that comes. This man, Lorenzo Insigne, had a quiet start to the year. He wasn't playing. He was back and scoring at the weekend. His first goal of the year for TFC. Well, you can't have the glory without the grind. The first midweek match day. So do Toronto maintain their momentum, or will Cincinnati's juggernaut just roll them over? We are underway, and it's Toronto playing from right to left. Back in the red tonight, having been in white for their weekend victory. And Cincinnati, they are in their change strip of all white this evening. Ball straight out for an early throw to be taken by one of the returnees for Pat Noonan's men in DeAndre Yedlin. Cincinnati, of course, sitting atop the East tonight. Toronto down near the bottom. These are all two familiar positions in recent times for these two teams. TFC trying to break the mold somewhat. Cincinnati have set their ambitions in stone. So how do they tackle this on the lakeside tonight? It's a good evening to Ross Smith.
It's going to be interesting. And how does Toronto continue the momentum on from Saturday? You just felt around the ground that there was a sense of relief of that being the impetus, the catalyst to kickstart the season. And for them to do that against a tougher opponent tonight in FC Cincinnati, it's going to be about their attitude first and foremost, to show that same desire and commitment and togetherness that they showed on Saturday. And then you move on to the stars. Lorenzo Insigne, he needs to be more involved. And not just his defensive effort, where he's received a lot of praise so far this year. He needs to show his quality on the ball. He was ever present against DC United. He needs that again. And on the other side with Cincinnati, their two stars, Evander and Denke. They're building a relationship. It's not at its best just yet, but still, individually, their quality, some of the best individual talent in the league, certainly with Evander. Anytime he's in that front half, Toronto, the hairs on the back of the neck will be standing up, because he is a problem. He is a danger as soon as he steps into that front half.
Toronto made a terrific start here against DC United at the weekend. They produced what Robin Fraser said was their best 45 minutes of the season, without any shadow of a doubt. And ultimately, although it was a 2-goal winning margin for them against Troy Lesesne and Christian Benteke and that DC group, Moments where they felt they were hanging on a little bit. He was disappointed with their second half display. Reminder of their team tonight, which is unchanged from that group that secured that victory here. Just a first win in 6 at home for them this year. They played a lot of away games as well. That's an important block from Cozy Thompson on Brad Smith. So the wing back for Cincinnati advanced. This is Bernadeschi coming across the field and bringing it all the way down to the left, ultimately for Corbeanu. He's up against Yedlin. Outside him, Bertretta. Set up for Coejo. And that's long over to the right-hand side, where Thompson can pick it up again.
Those areas are going to be interesting, how the game plays out with a back three, back five with your wingbacks sitting in. That's where Toronto will want to attack them in the wide areas. They have the talent there. Corbeanu on the left-hand side, Bernadeschi. Can they get the better of the wingbacks, which is DeAndre Yedlin and this man, Brad Smith?
Smith, one of 4 changes across the back line for Cincinnati from the team that started against Austin. Matt Miazga came out of that game, of course, only recently back from season-ending injury last year and surgery. This was just feeling a hamstring, a little bit of tightness. It's more precautionary than anything that he came out. Nick Hagland, who, of course, likewise is also back from surgery last year. They don't want to push the veteran, and a former treble winner here in Toronto, of course. So he is among the substitutes tonight. No Luca Oroshano, who scored twice here in what was a real thriller when these sides met at BMO Field last year. He's out again, precautionary with a leg injury.
Look at it, Tony, and when Pat Noonan, we chatted with him and he was going through what he was thinking for his squad. Never want to say a second choice team, but players who are trying to get into his first choice for the big games. You say what a lot of depth on the team to be able to go and rotate when you have Yedlin, who was out of the team on Saturday. You have Brad Smith, who at one point, in his career was one of the best left backs or left wing backs in the league. There's a lot of depth in this team.
Toronto certainly know about that as well. Smith, part of that Seattle team that would beat them in MLS Cup 2019. He's bounced around the league a little bit since. Plenty of experience. Yedlin comes back tonight, as we mentioned, and he's been more of a regular than not as well this season. He certainly has started the majority of games. Pat Noonan has almost always played with 3 at the back. He's gone to 2 at the back and to 2 centre-halves, 2 full-backs on just a couple of occasions. One of them actually when these 2 sides met earlier in the season at TQL Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, when Toronto were beaten by a couple of goals to 0.
What did Pat Noonan say? More of a defensive approach for tonight. So the challenge will be, how do we find that balance when we get on the ball to be good on it? Because the players he's putting in is designed to be able to go away from home and defend in longer stretches than what they would be used to being at home. For Toronto tonight, of course, we chat about Insigne and Bernadeschi, and they are so important to anything that Toronto are going to do in their attack, but Brynildsen needs to get him more involved in getting into the groove. It's the 3rd time this season that front 4, Corbeanu, put him in the equation. That front 4 have started together, only the 3rd time. Brynildsen been in and out of injuries, Insigne in and out due to form. And so what can that 4 start to do? If they can put a string of games starting together.
Well, it's interesting to see the role Insigne plays. It's a good sliding challenge in from probably one of the players of the season for TFC in Flores. This is Brynildsen bringing it forward. Corbeanu outside and to the left. Only Brynildsen to aim for. Needs a good cross. Robinson there to head it away.
And what a challenge that is from Flores. I agree with you, Tony. Flores, in what has been a very difficult season, he is the one that, if he went through the team and say who could take credit, he'd be one of them. Sean Johnson would be another one. But what a tackle that was. He set the tone early in the game.
Talking about the role of Insigne as well, the moments before that, of course, the goal celebration here at the weekend, running into the arms of Robin Fraser. I mean, we've seen him do that with John Herdman, to be honest. Last year they were doing that at the start of the year, but it's so important to get him engaged. He can be a game changer. Robin Fraser lauded him in our conversation with him this week, and the effect he has, the game intelligence he brings, not just, of course, the skill that we all know about. That's a nice ball from Flores, but Bernadeschi's going to stretch to keep it in, and he won't, and it's behind for a goal kick. You mentioned that challenge from the aforementioned Flores.
You talk about the attitude, you talk about setting the tone. In a play like that, it lifts you, everybody around, and it set Toronto on in the front half. Valenzuela took a minute to pick himself up off the deck.
Robin Fraser saw his side end a 4-game scoring drought at home on Saturday. They claimed a first home win in MLS since September 14th last season. This, of course, his first season in charge.
I've said, Tony, that Robin Fraser has the toughest managerial job in the league. He has to reset the culture. He has to re-engage Lorenzo Insigne, who was out in the wilderness, to bring him back in. And is he going to have the right attitude? But then all along, he has to get results as well. And he would say get results with a roster that desperately needs to be revitalized. And so Saturday, it felt as though that win against DC United was a little window, a little glimpse into the work that Robin Fraser's been doing.
A vastly experienced figure across this league, and of course we all know about his history, both as a player, a 2-time MLS Defender of the Year, and of course part and one of the architects, along with Greg Vanney, as head coach of the golden era for TFC and MLS. And that's given away, but they're going to pull play back for a foul as Denke was looking to get away. Coelho is left sprawling on the surface, and Jai Marufo going to the whistle. The FC Cincinnati head coach Pat Noonan talked about that squad depth and the rotation that he would put his side through tonight, but he said his group are in a good position to navigate the next few days, because of course we're into rivalry week in MLS. Toronto will go to Montreal at the weekend, and Cincinnati have that short trip to Lower.com Field where they'll take on Columbus. Great slate of fixtures to come, and a big game between those two Ohio forces in Major League Soccer these days.
Just so interesting, managers at different stages with their squad as well. And impressive with Pat Noonan, and I know that the club have opened up the checkbook to bring in big players to replace other big talent. Vasquez going out, Lucho Acosta. That's not easy to go and bring in other talent and insert them into a style that you want to play. But the way that Pat Noonan has done that with Denke and Evander, and they're not near their best, and they've been playing really good, but I just think there's so much more to come. How Pat Noonan has done that while balancing injuries to Hagelin, Matt Miazga, it's impressive. And I think that's added to the point where he is at now with the depth in his squad, because other players have had to step up. Now he's getting everybody back.
Here's Yedlin, a foray forward from the wing-back, but he can't get any control on that and sends it behind for a goal kick. We're through 10.5 scoreless minutes at BMO Field. Petretta, the latest player to feel a stinger.
This is the big match for Yedlin. Yedlin will still want to be in the first choice 11 for the big games. Make no mistake, the match this weekend against Columbus Crew, Yedlin would want to be playing in that. Now that Orshano has shifted across into a wing-back position, that's who Yedlin's competing for. Interesting that Petretta's rolled back on the pitch after he's taken a knock.
Looks uncomfortable. Of course, if he needs the trainers to come on, then he will have to come off.
That's interesting.
And he'll have to stay off for a couple of minutes. So, and the athletic trainers are coming on.
I would say he almost just needed to stay off and seek medical attention from off the pitch, because then he could have come straight back on. This from Yedlin as he's just trying to get his cross away. It's an awkward one. There's no malice in it. It's not coming together.
It certainly seems to have left its impact on him. A lot of pain down there. Carmelo Lebu, Kevin Holford, the athletic trainers out there attending to Raul Petretta right now. You can see there, it's a painful one. 27-year-old from Rheinfelden, after that cross that came in from the former US men's national team man, DeAndre Yedlin. Player Spotlight is presented by Allstate. You're in good hands. We're turning the focus on Pavel Buka in that Cincinnati midfield.
His level of IQ, so clever. The position that he takes up when he gets on the ball, how he connects into the front half, and we're seeing more of him this season joining in to that front third as well to give that extra number. So he's really come on in his time in Cincinnati.
So Petretta walking gingerly around the touchline. He will now stay off the field due to the off-field treatment rule. So TFC play on with 10 for now. Of course, the only way round that would be to make a substitution if he wasn't deemed able to continue. You don't really want to be doing that at this stage. So they'll chew up some clock and get Petretta back on, it seems, as quickly as possible, although he's actually needing the 2 minutes, it appears, because he's got his boot off down in front of us at the moment, as Anunga plays it into Buka. Inside him is Roberto Flores, one of those who's come into the side tonight.
It's required Corbinu to go back into the left-back position, and Insigne just shifting over left side of midfield.
Spot we often see and have seen Insigne in his time with TFC. He's got to watch because they're looking to pick Yedlin out here, and he gets the header to it. And then on the bounce, Long had to watch that carefully. That wasn't an easy ball to control. He sends it behind for a corner, the first of the game.
He had to deal with it Long, as Johnson was a bit indecisive, unsure whether to come and collect.
Still waiting to get Petretta back on. Evander stands over the game's first corner, and that was Brad Smith. It actually struck his arm, and it'll be a free kick to TFC. Petretta moments away from coming back on. Big sports night across Toronto. There's a certain Stanley Cup playoffs match on, and also Major League Baseball, and this week on Friday Night Baseball, it's a Texas rivalry game between the Astros and Rangers at 8:05 Eastern, and then out west, Julio Rodriguez and the Mariners take on Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres at 9:40. All this action available on Apple TV+. Saw the odd Maple Leaf shirt there. Big game for them on the ice tonight. Lots of people paying attention.
Available through the earbuds. His AirPods.
There's people.
Just wonder what he's listening to.
There's a lot of attention being paid to the smartphones down there, and what a night. Great buzz in the city going around with the Blue Jays back in action as well, and baseball season here. And Ross, it's 58 degrees, but they tell me it's summertime.
Patios are full. A little bit of sun, long winters. We'll take advantage.
It's worth it when you have the sporting feast. And here's somebody who can deliver a feast. Insigne for Corbinu. Anunga is there, along with Buka, to break it up. Evander to bring it away. He's got Brad Smith charging down the left flank outside him.
Just seeing the other side, Petretta, he's still limping, Tony. Struggled to get back in there. It's one sometimes for a player that you can run off. The adrenaline starts to kick in and you feel you just need a few minutes, but there's other times when the turn of the ankle is so much, it doesn't go away. He's trying to fight through that right now.
They've sent Kobe Franklin to have an extended warm-up. They might be bringing him back down, so Petretta's night might turn out to be a short one. And of course they served out the 2 minutes of the off-field treatment rule. No foul there. The referee's letting that one go as well. As I think it's an eye for an eye almost. And it's still keep going as this is Denke up against Rosted. Denke Still going in and out, and then he finds the corner. That is a quite fantastic individual goal from the $16 million man. It seemed like he was going down a blind alley, but a twist, a turn, a shot, a finish, and Cincinnati lead.
Well, how confident is this? A man at the moment who's just oozing confidence. As soon as he gets on the ball, there'll be a question of should this been a foul? And you would say it's in the attacking phase of play. Could it be looked at? But Denke on the ball, in and out, twist and turn past 3 Toronto players, in complete control of his body, of the ball, and of the defenders who are spinning around trying to get a foot in. And as soon as that goal opens up, how clean is that? Outside the post to in, top in, and he's been doing it all season long. What a hit, what a finish by one of their 2 star men.
Well, that was a 7th of the season in MLS play for him, a 9th in all competitions. And it is confirmed as well. It was a rather strange passage of play that led up to it, because we had, it felt like 2 or 3 moments where people almost stopped thinking that the referee was going to blow his whistle for a foul. But you have to play to the whistle. Cincinnati certainly did. And the Eastern Conference leaders are in front on the road here at BMO Fields. A team that has produced such wonderful moments of outstanding individual skill from Evander. Well, that was Evander-esque. Kobe Franklin's going to come in, and Petretta's night ends due to that knock.
A tough one for Petretta. Franklin, like for like. Right-footed though with Franklin. He'll take up that position in the left back. But players right now, Insigne and Bernadeschi, just getting down around the referee. They're arguing, feeling as though that challenge on the halfway line that led to Denke's goal, it should have been a foul. And again, I mentioned the attacking phase of play, that given the fact that there could have been a foul, the play could be brought back, the attacking phase of play, as it was just one phase going towards goal after that incident.
You just sense as well, there were 2 or 3 challenges that went in.
Yeah.
You just felt everybody was almost waiting for the whistle, but it never came. And as we say, you know, you have to play to the whistle. And Denke has delivered there. Franklin comes into play on the left at the back. Indeed, he's been employed in that role in the past. He had to come in, make his debut as a left back. So see how he copes on that side of the field. That's a foul from Insigne on Valenzuela. And his ire raised early on. Let's take a look at the build-up then to that goal and the potential foul that we were looking at. Here it comes.
It was right on the halfway line. Corbeanu, not a lot in there. There's not enough. Given the fact that it wasn't called on the pitch, you can't go and say it's a clear and obvious error. There's a little leg in behind Corbeanu. But again, you can understand why it wasn't called back. That's not a clear foul.
No.
You've seen them given, but again, not a clear and obvious error.
And you're into the realms of re-refereeing the game if you start pulling up incidents like that. So that's why the goal stands. And now Cincinnati looking for another one as they deliver to the back post, and the header is over the top by the arriving Flores.
What a ball this is. The whip on it, the height, the pace that it comes across. It's right on a plate for Flores. Still going to be difficult from that angle to get it across to the far side. He can't go near post. Johnson was there. But the ease to which Evander can hit a ball like that as well. It's effortless.
Cincinnati edging the possession and edging the scoreline on a night where the probability suggested they were the favourites indeed. Talk about Evander and the way he can kick a football, and it's quite majestic how he can hit a ball just with such timing and quality. Pat Noonan talked about that chance he had against Austin where he just instinctively right-footed, kind of cushion volleyed the ball off the upright at the weekend. Would have been a truly wonderful goal.
Even the ball into Valenzuela. the way that he shifts his body and hits it with the outside of his boot with the right amount of loft to go over a defender and sink down into the path of Valenzuela. So the Pat Noonan. So where do you rank that? And he said it's world class.
This exclusive netcam replay is brought to you by T-Mobile. The header there over the top from the free kick. So Toronto have got to try and respond here now, and the positive start, the way they really came out of the traps here against DC United at the weekend, not quite replicated tonight as we go through the first quarter of the game, and they're behind. And there's a little bit of frustration. They'll carry some frustration from that goal in their eyes. And of course they've been disrupted as well by the injury to Petretta, so a consistent, unchanged lineup immediately affected. Free kick here, and Flores goes into the book. Toronto wanted to get play going quickly, but the referee's going to tell them to hold up for a moment. Flores, who was actually sent off in one of Cincinnati's only 3 defeats this season, the loss at Charlotte. He goes in the book tonight with a yellow card to his name. Bernardeschi. That's Coelho. Franklin out to Corbeanu. Useful ball in, and that was Bernardeschi arriving, but he couldn't quite get on it. It was Brynhildsen, in fact, and rather stretching to make contact, but struggling to be able to direct it.
And a bit of contact at the backstick as well, but it's more like it for Corbeanu. Gets his half a yard, whips it in. What a ball, but Brynhildsen, the timing. It shows you a player that needs a run of games. The run of his attack, and the ball was just off. Gets underneath it. I think it would have been a foul in the end as well.
Flores out to Bernardeschi, and he keeps going, the Honduran, and he keeps this in play. 2 targets in the middle, and it was Robinson there who got there in front of Brynhildsen. It's a pace on that cross.
It's more like it from Toronto. It'd be really interesting to watch Bernardeschi and what he starts to do with his movement, because at times when he's not getting enough of the ball or the game's not going their way, starts to drift away and come inside. And he would say he tries to win the game himself. Fraser said he needs to get his teammates involved, and it will actually open up the game more for him.
Bring him just a little less attention. Wholehearted. Long's header out to Cozy Thompson. Skips past his man nicely. Now what can he do as the field opens up a little bit? That's Flores. Now Coelho. Still, of course, TFC a bit of a walking wounded when you consider the players they got out. In fact, when we arrived here at the stadium around 5 o'clock, we saw half of the injured group. They've been doing some workouts, and it's good to see that they are working their way back to fitness. I think they've been without the experienced Richie Larrea since week 2 of the season. We saw him go down in Orlando. Nixon Gomes is out. Jonathan Osorio, of course, talismanic figure in this team, is out at the moment. Henry Wingo and DeAndre Kerr as well, for a team that needs a goal scorer. Kerr got a couple before he too went down injured. He hasn't played since the end of March. Smith down the right, but that's a fine intercepting challenge. Franklin with some room. Corbeanu is outside him against Yedlin. Breaks to Coelho, but a foul against Franklin for the challenge on Flores, who stays down.
It's interesting because with that battle of Corbeanu and Yedlin, You wouldn't say that Corbeanu would have Yedlin for pace, but the pace that Corbeanu showed against DC United, against Herrera, who's one of the fastest players in the league, and Herrera, he couldn't keep up. Couldn't keep up with Corbeanu. It's good timing from Yedlin, though, just to step onto him. He's getting his distances right. In that instance, it would have taken... Would have learned from the last Corbeanu cross, understanding that he can't just sit off him. Extra couple of yards, good Corbeanu. He's got the ability to get out of his feet and whip it in.
Doubleheader this Sunday night soccer, the biggest and best yet. Messi in Miami hosting Orlando City, Luis Muriel and co. And then the latest installment of El Tráfico, LA Galaxy against LAFC. And the coverage begins at 6 o'clock Eastern right here on MLS Season Pass. In first ever Sunday night soccer doubleheader as Bernardeschi breaks towards the penalty area and Hodebe puts it behind, and TFC have their first corner of the game.
He made up the ground well, Hodebe, because it was a good ball in behind. First time we've really seen them tested the back line into that space for Bernardeschi to run onto.
Goes across to take the corner. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger. Both centre halves are up there, Long and Rosted. Celentano checking that his players have their zones rather than their men. When you look at the way that the Cincinnati defense is lining up. Bernardeschi and the header from Flores. A comfortable catch for Celentano.
There's so many white kits around. Difficult to get a clean run and a free header.
What did you used to like to do, zone or man mark?
Zone, I thought, was always the safety one. That you didn't have responsibility on you as much. And so that was the safe one. But man-to-man, I thought, was the one that if you have big and brave defenders, which wasn't me, Tony, that's the one you wanted. Because then if it's you versus me, and you go and score, I'm the one in trouble. Zonal, you can start to point fingers a bit more.
There's always a danger you can be marking a ghost. Now then, Evander ghosting forward, deflected, and that's off Long and behind for a corner.
Well, that's his area. That's his sweet spot, Evander. And didn't the Toronto FC defenders know it? As soon as he got into that pocket, he can hit him. Those are the areas that Evander is at his best, and Pat Noonan wants to continue to get him on the ball, but how quickly, I think it was Long that came across, got in a big block.
Well, you've got to watch Evander from outside the box. He's got 13 goals from outside the penalty area since 2023 when he joined the league with Portland. That's his corner, and it's at the near post, flicked off the bar.
Robinson, a little skim header at that front post.
Almost catching Sean Johnson out, whether he got a little touch on it. I'm sure we'll look on the replay, but the near post run and the well-directed header, the woodwork prevents Toronto from going 2 down.
That's what helps so much more as well for your runners when you come up for corner kicks. You know Evander can put the ball anywhere. And so you're willing to make those runs and gamble because you know he's going to put it right on the plate for you. Corner in, and Robinson, that's horrible to defend. You can't get across your mark. It looks like it's gone straight onto the bar, that Johnson hasn't had a touch.
Narrow escape then for a Toronto team beaten 3 times here so far this season. They have a couple of draws. They struggled to score goals. Indeed broke a long goal drought here at home at the weekend. Ironically, that Robin Fraser said the 45 minutes at the start of the game was actually the best they played this season. The 2 goals came in the second half.
What did he say? By a mile. The level of engagement, the quality was there. But it's a different opponent tonight. There were openings. And part of that was the quality Toronto had to create the openings, but the defensive structure of Cincinnati, they're a much better team in that sense than DC United.
Vander into the book for that foul.
A good little battle between the two as Flores. It's not a lot in the end. I think he gave more to Evander to win the ball back.
There's an interesting subplot here, Ross, of course, which if you're a member of the Cincinnati staff and you're down there on the sideline and you're looking at the way Jaya Marufo is refereeing the game so far, we're through only 33 minutes. We've already had a couple of yellow cards. Kevin Denke is on 4 yellow cards. He's walking the tightrope of yellow card accumulation and suspension. If he picked up a yellow card tonight, he'd be out for the Hell is Real derby at the weekend.
I bet that's in his mind, not to go into any silly challenges.
Evander, Brad Smith, oh, it's a good ball.
It's the right ball as well. Denke applauds. He'd be applauding a lot more if he made that run.
The player comparison is presented by Celsius, pure passion and maximum energy with zero sugar. Look at the contributions of Flores and Yedlin so far, different positions of the field. It was Luca Orishano who played that right wing-back role at the weekend. Now, we could have a situation here where the substitute may have to be substituted because they're getting another sub ready. Franklin, who came on for the injured Petretta, has got a problem.
Well, it's interesting. On one of his recovery runs, he didn't look as though he was running freely. He was carrying something. I'm not quite sure where that has come about. From a challenge. Is it from his body just getting up to speed? A bit of tightness.
Lazar Stefanovic is getting ready and is now actually on the sideline. So, well, this is really a headache for any head coach. And it looks like Franklin's time is going to be almost as short as Petretta's was on the night, if not shorter.
You think it's a tough one for Robin Fraser, especially because game at the weekend against their rivals Montreal. I'm sure he would have wanted to rest some legs in the attack so that they'd be fresh for the weekend.
Petretta lasted 20 minutes. Franklin has been on the field for 14. And they're going to attack that side of the field. Why not at this point? Well, Franklin is definitely playing with a knock at the moment and through the pain. And Sean Johnson just throws it out because they want to get the substitution on. And so Lazar Stefanovic is going to come on. And this will be just his 4th appearance of the season, and indeed only his 6th of his career in Major League Soccer. So the 18-year-old from Clearwater, Florida, more of a centre-back really than a full-back. So we'll see whether they adjust things and whether indeed it's a straight swap. Looks like it will be for now. So Stefanovic is going to be asked to play as the left-back. And here he is with his first touch. And we have 10 minutes to half-time.
Not a great ball to start off with. I could bet Cincinnati will be looking to come down that right-hand side and get at him early.
This game last season was a real thriller, 7 goals. And it was actually settled in the 93rd minute by Sergio Santos, who's among the substitutes tonight. And at the time, it was a 7th straight win for Cincinnati. It shows you just how consistent they've been the last couple of years. As Brynhildsen chases this one over the top, Salentano comes out.
Robinson, he was a bit fortunate. He did well to use his body against Brynhildsen and allows Salentano to come out and collect, but he was fortunate that it did carry into him. Otherwise, if it was outside the box, Robinson, he would have had to deal with it. We haven't seen enough of that from Toronto. Ball into Insigne.
That's a good ball in behind too, Insigne from Bernardeschi, the two Italians combining. And Insigne's only 5'4", and there's very few times that that is an issue for him. He's so good on the field, but maybe that was just one.
A little bit too heavy. Those two combine. It's a smart little run by Insigne as soon as the backs are turned from the defense. He's making that run off of Buka, and it was there for him. Just a bit too heavy.
Played on by Robinson. Long stretching.
It's interesting, Tony, as well on Saturday, noticed that the ball was playing quite quickly as well. The surface, it's really slick. There was a couple of times misplayed passes. It just seemed as though the ground was playing quick.
Afternoon kickoff here, of course, on Saturday. Valenzuela to the penalty area, and he's got hold of that, but got too much on it. Will actually go out for a throw over on the other side of the field.
Neat insight from Pat Noonan with Valenzuela, who in an earlier game this season he was going to be starting, but he wasn't showing enough quality in training, and Pat Noonan said, well, it kept him from starting in the match. So he learned this lesson, and over the last month he's definitely improved. His quality has been much better, and the big difference he said he needs to be able to take on board is that change of pace, where Vanden knows how to change that pace to go from slowing the tempo down to quickly speeding it up. That's what Valenzuela needs to improve on.
Yes, it was a lesson of tough love, really, wasn't it, from a coach? And working on that speed in his game, and feels he has responded really well, and he's taking his minutes well. He started in this fixture here last year. Stefanovic, he needed an option. He's ultimately run into 3 white shirts.
He's wanting Corbeanu to make a run inside. Stefanovic, he just needs to play it simple, get himself into the game. It's twice now on the ball, hasn't come off for him. It's an easy 5-yard pass. Just give it to him, and then give him an earful afterwards to make a run off the ball. It's a bit better.
Yedlin just nipping in behind him. There's room over on the other side of the field as well for the advancing Brad Smith. On the bounce, he's just sent wide.
They've done so well, Cincinnati, in this first half, just controlling defensively the positions, but then on the ball.
These are the team benches built by the Home Depot. As Evander on the field races forward. Yedlin crosses, and that was Smith again. And he just couldn't get his feet sorted out. Behind it goes for a goal kick. And look at the substitutes as we see Brad Smith retreat there. Sergio Santos scored the winner here. And Kai Kamara, he'll wear number 85 for Cincinnati. That's an ode to Chad Ochocinco of Cincinnati Bengals fame.
Great little interchange there. Buka, the understanding of the run off the ball with Evander, going right through the middle of the pitch. That's where Evander's game is continuing to go to another level, is that the understanding the teammates have of where he's going to be popping up and finding him. Eyes on the back of the head stuff from Buka.
A reminder, when we looked at that list of names of the Toronto bench, they've used 2 already in Kobe Franklin and Nazar Stefanovic. Marcos Simomancic, by the way, is back tonight, but he's only just back from injury. Valenzuela, and the cross is heavy.
He did so well just to get that half a yard to get his cross off, but again, that quality's let him down.
Well, rivalry week in MLS starts tonight, rolls into the weekend, and we've got a great one. 2:30 Eastern on Saturday afternoon as Robin Fraser takes his team to Montreal. And you can see it right here on MLS Season Pass. Prince Owusu of Montreal comes up against his former club. And a lot at stake for the 2 Canadian teams on the East Coast, who, of course, are rather in the shadow of the team on the West in Vancouver right now. We've made such a terrific start to league and cup play this year. Toronto indeed will be looking for a little bit of revenge for the Canadian Championship. They were knocked out by Montreal in this stadium a couple of weeks ago. Penalty shootout at the end. Denke, whose goal is the difference. And that's onside for Buka, who lays it back for Evander. Big block, lost it. Had to be in the way because that was heading for the net. Corbino to bring it away now. Toronto fans trying to get behind their team. He's dancing down the touchline. And here's Corbino. Has he got an end product? He wants a foul for a little shove. He won't get it.
He is looking for it. There is a bit of contact, but not enough. Not enough of the back, and then not enough of weight going into the back of Corbino. What a block before that with Rosted coming out after an errant pass from Coelho. Toronto just haven't been good enough on the ball. They haven't been able to work it into good areas. Find Insigne, find Bernardeschi. Moments like that, Coelho, he needs to be better.
Insigne looking for that spark off Bernardeschi.
A poor ball from Coelho, and how quickly Cincinnati get it forward. And Buka, he's got all the time in the world as the defense for Toronto. They just collapse. The floor as he goes with his runner, Denke. Van there, it's there for him. Too many red kits on the way. Moments like this with Thompson on the ball. A lot of options except to go wide. I see Brynhilsen. Not a lot in the way of involvement from him. And he's received high praise from Robin Fraser, what he's seen at training. Brynhilsen uses his body and his level of intelligence. He's hardly had a touch though in this half.
Out on the Toronto left. Here's Flores, got a bit of room in front of him. And Bernardeschi outside him, who picks it up now and comes inside onto that favoured left foot and to shoot well wide of the target. Took a deflection. It'll be a corner.
Well, when he cuts in more often than not, he's looking to go himself. Flores, powerful run out of midfield. And he sets Bernardeschi on, who's trying to stay disciplined. Hasn't been really involved in this first half, but he's staying out on that right-hand side. His teammates a chance to grow in the game.
Added time is presented by Audi as Bernardeschi swings in the corner to the back post, and that's headed away by Robinson and volleyed back by Coelho, producing the save from Celentano. A good strike from Alonso Coelho, and that would have given Toronto something to head into the locker rooms with in a half where it's looked too comfortable at times for Cincinnati.
It's more like it from Coelho. Technically, he's really clean. Good technician of the ball. He needs to show more of that. It was a good moment, but out of deeper line central positions on the ball and connecting further forward to players. Needs to be better.
Final minute then of this first half. And Wilson chasing. Comfortable one for Celentano to clear, but he's given it straight to Flores. Trying to finish this first half on the front foot. Bernardeschi has come inside for a moment to try and find the game.
Just so many Cincinnati bodies taking up that central area.
At this moment they effectively just dropped to a back five, so it's a real white wall there that the Red are trying to break down.
And there's a real lack of movement from Toronto players off the ball as well. A lack of ideas right now.
And with that, Daniel Marufo blows his whistle, and it is half-time at BMO Field, and the Eastern Conference leaders with another show of strength in the first 45 minutes and a show of superior finishing from that man Kevin Denke. It's his goal that is the difference as the two teams head to the dressing rooms. We have a halftime score of Toronto 0, FC Cincinnati 1. We'll have the highlights and the stats next.
I'm in love, and it's all because of Angela,
Who's Angela?
a neighborhood savant. She's technically my agent.
You're in love with the house?
Condo, dude. Keep up.
Condo. Maybe I need an.
What's up, soccer fans? How we doing tonight? The TFC Reds hosting FC Cincinnati. Come on, boys. We have to get another victory and build off of that victory over DC United in the last one out. Lorenzo and Fede looked decent. I'll say they looked good. Corbino had a good moment there with that feed into Lorenzo Insigne. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Here on TSI, we are live. It's a triple header. The Blue Jays are playing the Rays right now. The Leafs are also in Game 5 against the Panthers, and that's where I'm going to be hanging out, running all these streams, having a good time, being Toronto Sports Insider. That's what they call me. So here I am. TSI is in the house, and don't forget the lucky Blue Jays hat. We have got to make it happen tonight, Insiders. Thank you for being here. Please do all the normal YouTube things. Please like this stream if you're having a good time listening to TFC or Cincinnati. As well, please share this link out. Let's get more soccer fans to build an awesome community here. And don't forget, the link that's pinned in the chat is to our Playoff Pulse campaign, where we're raising money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto. So thank you. Let's get back to the soccer. We appreciate you being here. Let's go, Reds. Come on, let's get this thing started. Let's get the victory tonight, boys. Come on. Come on, like Berna would say. Come on. Him and Maddie at the Leafs game was awesome. That was really cool. Go TFC, go. TFC. TFC. Let's go. Wrong way.
Futures like MLS Cup winner, MVP, top scorer, and more. DraftKings Sportsbook has an exclusive offer for soccer fans. Just download the app and use the promo code when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Welcome to the Audi halftime report from BMO Field on a huge sporting night in the city of Toronto. And on the soccer field, the home team trailing the Eastern Conference leaders by a 0-0 as they check in on the scores. One or two important ones going on elsewhere as well. Let's go into the highlights of this one, though. And a night where TFC looking to build on their first home win of the season that came at the weekend. But Cincinnati arrive here in form. They have a good record here as well. But their goal would be a moment of magic.
It was absolutely brilliant from Denke. He's been scoring goals since he's arrived in Cincinnati, and this is one of the top ones. As he gets on it, he has one thing in mind: get it to an area where he can get a strike away, a lovely left foot curler, and he just spins three Toronto FC players inside out and finds the corner. Great bit of skill, top class, and then their other star man, Van, they're putting it right on a plate for Flores. Difficult angle to try and steer it towards the far side of the goal, and Sean Johnson moves across well. But Cincinnati, they were the more like it, the more dangerous in that area. This, Toronto's best opportunity, Corbino, great ball at the back stick, but Bryn Hilson, he just runs underneath it, doesn't get the timing right as Corbino. It's that half a yard, a good battle going on with him and Yedlin. But Bryn Hilson still trying to get his timing right. Cincinnati a chance to make it to the near post with Robinson, skims it on. And it skips off the post as Johnson, he misses it. And that would have made it too. Cincinnati really tighten the screws defensively, and then going forward, continue to show how they can break down a team. Great interchange between Buka and Evander. Brad Smith, the left wing back, trying to make up the space, cutting in, but he can't get his foot around it. He's overrun the ball. Toronto, they were feeding off half chances. Great strike though. Coelho, good contact from him. His weaker foot, but he gets his hips around it, gets his foot over top of the ball. Great technical still. That was it. Feeding off scraps, Toronto.
And reflected somewhat by the XG at the end of that first half at 0.27 to Cincinnati's 0.82. Cincinnati actually with the goal on the board, of course. Marginal edge in possession for them. The corner count is level. Have had 3 cautions in that first half. 1 for the home team and 2 for the visitors into the book in the first 45 minutes. Denke, the $16 million man, repays that faith again. It's his goal that's the difference. We're back in a moment.
Make me go loco, loco, make me go loco. Make me go loco. Make me go loco, loco.
Come seek the Royal Caribbean.
At RBC Wealth Management, we know you have ideas for your future. Ideas that can have you taking more time off or putting more time in. They could mean more peace and quiet or more fun and games. Ideas you can drive or that drive you. From settling in to living it up, what ideas will you bring to life? Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
If I was a flower growing wild and free, all I'd want is you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree growing tall and green, all I'd want is you to shade me and be my If you were a wink, I'd be a nod. If you were a seed, well, I'd be a pod. If you were a floor, I'd want to be a rug. And if you were a kiss, I know I'd be a hug.
Jameson, a famously smooth whiskey from a famously big family. So big that Jose here could be one of us. You see, he's nearly as smooth as our whiskey. For him, wrong turns usually turn out all right. Even when he shows up uninvited, he's never empty-handed. And he only ever drinks smooth Jameson whiskey. Surely he must be part of the family. Must be a Jameson.
Welcome back to the Audi halftime report from BMO Field in Toronto, where the home side trail FC Cincinnati by a goal to nil here. Kevin Denke with his 7th of the season. That's the difference as we head into the second half. Let's take a look at what else is going on. The first full midweek match week for Major League Soccer and rivalry week across the league as well. And some of the early scores there. The big surprise, probably LA Galaxy's 2-0 lead at Philadelphia. Their season appeared to hit rock bottom when they were beaten 7-0 by the New York Red Bulls at the weekend, but they have a halftime lead at Philadelphia. Orlando 2-1 up on Charlotte. Wilfried Zaha on target there for Charlotte. That's a repeat of the Eastern Conference playoff game from last year. Later on tonight, some great action. RSL and Portland, and then LAFC against Seattle is a 10:30 Eastern game. San Diego are at home tonight, and the Quakes host Lionel Messi and Miami. The top performance is presented by Audi, and it's this moment of magic.
Has to go to the goal scorer, Denke. Great individual brilliance to be able to get himself to an area where he opens up the goal. Just his balance, his body control, and the way he controls the defenders around him. It's brilliant.
This is... Oh, my apologies, Ross. This is Major League Performance. This is Audi, official automotive partner of Major League Soccer. And we take a look at Denke's heat map there from that first half.
Well, it's his understanding how to combine with Alfando, the spaces that take up. But the fact that he's central, he knows what side his bread is buttered, and he knows that's where the chances are going to come, and to make sure that he's available for his teammates. But then when the ball comes into the area, he's getting on the end of things.
And he's scored a quite wonderful goal tonight. And as we head into the second half, that is the difference. Although the frame of the goal helped Toronto out as well in that first half. The second half comes next.
He loves that baby.
My pride and joy. And wait till you see the other two surprises. A joyful bundle of 3.
3?
I was thinking of gifting one to each of you. I got AT&T's bundle of 3, iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence for me, and iPad and Apple Watch for you.
New and existing customers get their iPhone 16 Pro on us with eligible trade-in, plus iPad and Apple Watch SE for 99 cents per month each and save up to $1,700.
Welcome to this year's championship game. This is the big one.
With Amex Gold, you can score 4 times points on restaurants around the world. So you can raise the bar on game night. That's the powerful backing of American Express.
You gotta look it up sometime.
Let me see.
Or no, not on...
Did you search cool outfits to wear with shark tooth necklace?
Yeah.
Goldfish have short memories. Be like goldfish.
Brother, it's a statement piece.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can explore the neighborhood or live like a local. Unplug for the day or plunge into a long weekend. With IHG's 19 hotel brands, you can guest how you guest.
I'm an overpowered leaf blower, and I'm not exactly street legal.
And if you don't have the right auto coverage, this could really blow your budget. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Hey, playing for an Ultra?
We're playing for Ultras. Brace you for an Ultra?
Put an Ultra on it. Don't forget, there's Ultras on the line. I didn't.
Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
Welcome to Toronto, Ontario. This broadcast of MLS on Apple TV is presented by T-Mobile. Wonderful view of downtown Toronto on a huge sports night across this city and down by the lakeside. Here at BMO Field, we're about to go into the second half of this MLS Matchday 13 encounter, which sees the Eastern Conference leaders FC Cincinnati leading Toronto by a 1-0 going into the second half. The supporter cam is brought to you by Lowe's. Visit Lowe's for the ultimate assist on your next project. And a night where TFC fans came with high hopes. They're paying attention to 1 or 2 events going on elsewhere as well. There's plenty of Maple Leaf shirts on around the stadium. Not great news coming out of the Stanley Cup playoffs for them tonight. They'll hope that these Toronto players on the field will give them something to roar about in this second half. Evander foiled by a couple of key blocks so far and adding to his goal tally for the season. But they couldn't stop him. Deke is the difference. So we go into the second half, and Enrico Bernardeschi and his Italian compatriot Lorenzo Insigne, well, they combined so well to galvanize TFC to a first home win of the campaign at the weekend. What can they do in this second half? Which is underway now on the whistle of Jair Marufo. And it's Cincinnati playing from right to left. They're all in the white tonight, the Eastern Conference leaders. It's all red for TFC with just a 1 home win from 6 so far. And they win the early throw-in on the right, which will be taken by Cozy Thompson. A reminder that TFC in that first half forced into 2 substitutions due to injury, and indeed the substitute had to be substituted. With Petretta first of all going off. Kobe Franklin came on to replace Raul Petretta, but lasted only 15 minutes before having to leave the field himself. And Lazar Stefanovic, the teenager, is on playing at left back.
It's going to be interesting to see how Robin Fraser uses that final substitution window as well. Keeping in mind that there's a big game on Saturday against Montreal.
Yeah, he opted not to make any further changes at half-time. So that's a really salient point there as we go into the second half. Cool night now down by the lakeside. We've dipped below 60 degrees. Absolutely perfect for these players though out there.
It's been pretty perfect for Cincinnati as well. The maturity they've shown defensively. They're getting everything right, closing space down, but then on the ball, been simple, been effective, and getting their main man in the right areas.
Denke again trying to weave his way through, and there is the shot. Well tipped away as Evander let loose again, and everything he hits seems to turn to gold, but he was denied by Sean Johnson.
It also says with Denke, look how he uses his body and how he twists out of that challenge to be able to then get it across to Evander, who settles it so well. He's just so good at continuing to hit a target. Settles the ball left-footed, gets it out of his feet. It requires the special attention of Johnson.
And here's his corner, and there is Johnson to parry away. Yedlin sends it back in. That really is a sandwich. And then hit on the volley, and well saved. And what a fine effort that was from Flores from a long way out. And Johnson forced into action again.
Centre back that can hit him. What a volley that was. And he's shaped up with purpose as well, taking that strike on.
Well, Robin Fraser said to us this week, if we're talking about Sean Johnson, it's not saying that we're doing particularly well. He doesn't want his goalkeeper to be attracting too many headlines because it means he's busy. But my word, he's made a couple of important saves there.
The former centre-back himself, Robin Fraser, said he never liked it when people talked about his goalkeeper. Meant he wasn't doing his job.
It was almost a personal insult if they were doing that. This is Bernadeschi down the right now and cutting inside on that foot, and the deflection, well, helps it just into the air and straight into the hands of Celentano in the end.
Well, he got away from his mark, Bernadeschi, and it opened up for him, but he's going to put his foot through it rather than the curler. You go back to this volley from Flores. Look at that technique and the balance. How he controls it with his chest and he moves away from the ball to give him that space to get his leg through it. That's so good from Denke as well. Look at that hold-up play. It hasn't come off in the end, but he's made long work for it.
This is the win probability. And Cincinnati now heavily favoured at 72.4%.
Tough one for Toronto. Wouldn't be a number that Robin Fraser would want his players to see coming out of the tunnel.
Definitely not when you're the home team, and there is still just a goal in this game. It's a slender lead, despite the fact that you do get the sense, and have done through this game, that what we're seeing in many ways reflects where these two teams are. You've got one team who's top and one team who's 13th in the East, and don't forget the team who's top have made 6 changes tonight as well, and yet they've looked pretty comfortable, Cincinnati. But 1-0 is not a comfortable scoreline. So Denke and co will look for more. Here's Brad Smith now. There's 4 in the middle, and Denke arriving. Well, he stuck his boot out. It was going to be hard to control that, and it's a goal kick.
Just didn't catch it right. He's trying to glance it with his foot. It's quite clever, actually, from Denke. I mean, he skies it in the end, but he had an idea in there. Stefanovic, poor ball from him again. Just needs to connect a couple of simple passes.
Remember, Stefanovic coming into the game as a first-half substitute for only his 6th career appearance, the teenager.
Frustrated for Bernadeschi. There's just so many layers for him to get past as Cincinnati. Focusing a lot of attention, not allowing him to get ahead of steam.
Pat Noonan's team across the field, the screen there, and he rung the changes tonight, but ultimately he's kept his big guns in there. When you think of Evander, Denke, experiencing Miles Robinson anchoring the back line with no Matt Miazga tonight, out as a precaution with a hamstring strain. And as we mentioned in the first half, you're then calling on players who are pros that have been around the block in this league, that have made great achievements. When you think of Yedlin, Smith, two former Seattle men going down each flank tonight. Thanks to Anunga, plenty of experience in this league with his former employers at Nashville. Well, Robin Fraser was critical of his side's second-half performance here on Saturday. Felt the first half was the best yet. We'll hope it's kind of reversed tonight.
They were hoping they could build off of that and use that to start to launch their season. Hasn't gone that way. It's a different beast, Cincinnati, than their opponents, DC United, who weren't great on Saturday, especially in that first half. You are seeing one of the top teams in the league, I know, in terms of the standings, but certainly in terms of ability across the board.
Second only to Vancouver and the Supporters' Shield standings going into tonight. So it's frustrating times for this group as they watch their team, and indeed you can watch every team on MLS 360, which brings you all the goals, all the highlights, all the drama and the news of every MLS match day with Kevin Egan and the team. MLS 360 on the air right now and through the evening as well, as we bring you games from across the central and then western time zone as well, and in the Pacific, and some good ones to come later tonight here on MLS Season Pass. Robinson strong against Brynhildsen.
He's so good, Robinson. His recovery speed and even his awareness, his positioning has come on quite a bit. I actually think he's benefited from Matt Miazga. Never want a teammate to be injured, but the fact that Matt Miazga's been out, Robinson, he's needed to advance his game and understanding the positions to take up a bit better.
Well, there are big spots, and there is a watching U.S. men's national team head coach in Mauricio Pochettino, who's following the exploits of players both in MLS and around the world, and the door is firmly open, you sense, with a World Cup here on these shores next year, not just of course in the US, but right here in Canada. This will be one of the host venues, along of course with the games in Mexico. The Club World Cup as well coming in just a few weeks time now. In fact, our referee tonight, who blows his whistle there, Jay Marufo, actually refereed the 2018 Club World Cup final when Real Madrid and El Ain contested that final. Those are two teams that will be here in North America in the next few weeks as well. Big summer of soccer, Gold Cup as well to come, and that's sure to be a very important testing ground for Canadian team, US team, as they build towards next year. Corbeau now, using that pace. It's a good ball in as well, and Bernadeschi met it but did not connect properly with the volley.
He's done so well, Corbeau, a couple times tonight. Just to be able to get his cross away, good shape on it. It's come down from the clouds, but it's one Bernadeschi should be doing better with.
Well, it was the race down the left on Saturday from Corbeau and the cross, which met the diving header of Insigne. Echoes of that for just a moment as Corbeau delivered the cross. That's a nice touch from Evander. Here's Brian Anunga now. just sense as well that as Flores has gone down, and here goes Denke, and referee's saying play on. Flores remains on the surface. Denke moves forward. I feel like the crowd are wanting something to happen on the field to get them engaged in this at the moment. Joe Marufo has now stopped play, and Flores feels he got something in the face.
It was the right elbow of Denke. As Denke was coming into the ball, watch the right elbow of him. Is he just trying to reference? He's trying to see where Flores is. It's the right hand as it stretches out. But he's just trying to feel him. It's part and parcel of the contact expected in a match, and especially you're going up against a striker who's good at holding off defenders. It's just unfortunate.
We mentioned Kevin Denke is on 4 yellow cards coming into this game. If he picked up one tonight, he would miss Hell is Real at the weekend. That is something I'm sure Pat Noonan would want to avoid. As we speak, 3 substitutes are being lined up by Cincinnati down on the touchline, including Sergio Santos, alongside Lucas Engel and Yuya Kubo. To throw Toronto's way.
We know coming into tonight, the players who started on Saturday, Pat Noonan wanted to around the 60-minute mark, depending on how the game was going, to give some guys a rest. Save them for Saturday.
I'll go straight back across the border and down to Ohio tonight. Back in and planning and preparations, and a regen tomorrow, and then off to Columbus on Friday ahead of the big encounter Saturday night. Flores was okay forward for Brynhildsen, but that touch is an easy one for Flores to deal with.
It's been a disappointing night for Brynhildsen. It's not happening for him when crosses are coming into the box. It's not happening for him to be that target man you can play into and bounce the ball off of.
Yeah, Robin Fraser talks about as Brynhildsen having been extremely determined, but kind of concurred when I said, you know, he just needs a goal. However he gets it, he needs a goal. That's where the confidence will grow. Sometimes it feels like it's never going to come. This guy looks like he's going to score every time he touches the ball. It's Evander, and he's held off Flores, and he's still going. Now Anunga to help him out.
He's just so good, Evander, at working the space and keeping a hold of the ball.
And he has space now, so he goes for the shot. And well wide of the target, ultimately.
And that's disappointing. And you can see it in Evander's face. Should be on target, given his standard.
Kevin Denke will come out, and in fact that was the last contribution of Evander as well. And Brad Smith's night is also done, ending his second start since joining FC Cincinnati. So Engel will come in and slot in the man on loan from Middlesbrough. So a triple change as we approach the hour mark at BMO Field.
Strong reinforcement. They'll put themselves about. They've got that bit of quality as well, and so does this man. Nice left foot. His passing range is really impressed this year.
Nice touch to keep that in.
Nice bit of quality.
And room for Brynhildsen to run at them. He's got a man outside him. Oh, he beats one, and he now has the run of Gorbanu. Needs some support in the middle. Signe lurking on the edge of the box. Coejo now picks it up. This one swung wide, looking for Bernardeschi, and that's asking a lot of him.
A great bit of skill initially from Gorbanu to Brynhildsen, but from there, just so many Cincinnati bodies. Toronto to try and find any bit of breathing room in the box. It's difficult.
And we mentioned MLS 360, of course, when the final whistles go across the country, and indeed Canada, the United States, late tonight. If you're up early tomorrow morning Eastern time, 1 a.m. is when MLS wrap-up will be on the air. It's available, of course, at all times on demand on MLS Season Pass, so if you can't stay up with Kevin Egan and the crew, they will take you through all the headlines and all the news from this midweek match day 13 in Major League Soccer in what is a really busy month now Most teams are going to play 7, 8, some of them 9 games during this month. Toronto out of the Canadian Championship, and Cincinnati not involved in the US Open Cup this year. They have Leagues Cup to come, and they've got some really good fixtures in that as well. Chivas, Monterrey, FC Juarez. And Denke, one of those who I'm sure will star in Leagues Cup with a new tweak coming at the end of July and through August this year, right here on Apple TV. We're into the final half hour now. Still, it's a 1-goal advantage for FC Cincinnati. They have a great record here. They're aiming for a 4th straight victory in this stadium, and indeed their 5th overall at BMO Field. And their record against Toronto since entering the league is their best against any MLS club. So when Cincinnati come up against Toronto, there's usually been one result, but we've got a long way to go, and this was a 7-goal thriller last year that could have gone either way. Santos, the match winner, is on the field now. Here's another of the subs, Kubo. Oh, it slipped through beautifully, and then a side-footed effort from Yedlin, who has not scored in Major League Soccer since 2013. Well, he wasn't too far away from his eyes bulging with the net in front of him there.
I think he's going for a toe poke.
Kubo running it all the way through, and Johnson just there in time. The Matchday Live scores are presented by AT&T. Into the second half now. Philadelphia have leveled against the LA Galaxy. It's 2-2 now. That was a 2-0 LA lead at halftime. Montreal still lead Columbus. Toronto go there at the weekend.
Orlando City.
Other games to come, yeah.
Wilfred Zaha scoring for Charlotte.
LAFC Seattle, 10:30 Eastern for that one. 3 really good late games tonight. Miami on the road at San Jose, having been beaten 4-1 at Minnesota at the weekend. Heaviest defeat of the Messi era in MLS with him on the field.
Goal scoring San Jose. Arango is putting them in the back of the net.
Wonderful arc as well of the. Not to say that Bruce Arena represents the old MLS, because he's remained current and he's still such a pivotal figure in this league today, but Bruce Arena, Lionel Messi, just how the journey has gone 30 years on in this league. Now Bernadeschi. Adebe goes with him and makes the challenge. It's a Toronto throw.
He's been good tonight, Adebe. Getting his distances right, knowing when to just give a bit of breathing room. So he's got the run on Bernadeschi, balls in behind, but then getting tight to not let him get the better of him and pick up his head and start picking out passes. That one goes away. Just hasn't been his night at all, Bernadeschi. There was a nice flow about Toronto FC's game in the first half against DC United. The team connected, and Bernadeschi a big part of that. Just off a step tonight.
Robin Fraser said, when we're engaged, we're a good team.
So when Bernadeschi is getting his teammates involved, it brings his team to another level, breathes life into his team. Bernadeschi is trying to be disciplined and stick to his role. It's just flat. It's flat all around in the attack.
Engel playing it forward and picking up the return into the box. The substitute. Corbeau skips away from Yedlin, and now he's got some space and time. And he's going to take his man on down the touchline as well in Flores, and he's going to beat him. But is balance affected enough? And no final end product, and that's been the problem for Toronto tonight. No end product.
He's been penalized, Corbeau, for being too honest, for staying on his feet. If he goes to ground, I think that's a free kick. But he shows it's deceptive. He's got to turn a pace. He's got quite the long gait that you don't expect him to be able to get away from defenders. He eats up the ground. Looks like that last play tired him out as well.
He's walking back at the moment as the referee gives a free kick for the challenge on Venezuela.
It's a tough one for Robin Fraser as well, given the injuries in the first half and 2 substitute windows. Guys starting to tire. They put in so much to that win on Saturday. They need to dig in here.
Quick free kick, long with the header away, the Irishman. Fetch by Venezuela, nips inside, and the low cross is blocked. And then the follow-up is saved at the first and second attempt. It was Kubo who got both those shots away, but couldn't find a way past Sean Johnson.
Fantastic from Johnson. Stefanovic, he's trying to make a tackle in. He ends up on the ground, and then he's squirming from there. Stefanovic, there's the initial block, and then he needs his goalkeeper to bail him out. He's big and strong here, Johnson. Just looking after that near stick. Gets quickly back to his feet as well for that strong right arm.
Without him, and indeed the aid of the crossbar in the first half, Cincinnati would be out of sight, really. Robin Fraser praising the performance of his veteran, the 36, or he's 35, he'll be 36 at the end of this month. And here's Bernadeschi. He's got Thompson outside him, but too much on it, and he's never going to be able to deliver too much quality from the ground.
It goes back to what I said earlier. It just seemed as though the pitch is playing quickly. That ball was always getting away from Thompson. A little bit too much on it from Bernadeschi. You've rarely seen those two combining and linking up to get into the final third.
Since he opted to play it out from the back, and that's good pressure from Coelho, and it goes for the goal kick.
Just seen Tony down in the technical area. It looks as though Toronto are readying 3 players, attacking players.
This will be their final window, so if they want to make the changes, they have to bring them on in this moment.
Spicer, Dominguez, and Etienne Jr. They need a goal, Toronto. They need to do something different. They need to rest some legs as well.
Just the short trip to Montreal coming from this weekend, but a hostile atmosphere awaiting at Stade Saputo. And defeats can drain the energy in your legs. It's a team that also has been shut out 4 times in 6 games here at home in MLS. They've got this final quarter of the game now to try and find a goal-scoring solution. And the latest effort to do that is to make this triple change. Out comes Insigne. Derek Etienne Jr. will come on. Brynhildson's night is done. Maxime Dominguez, the on-loan striker, comes into the game. And the former #1 draft pick out of Lipscomb, Tyrese Spicer, the Trinidad and Tobago international, will come into the game. The contrast with when Bernadeschi and Insigne came off with 10 minutes to play and the rapturous applause here on Saturday, and tonight they come out with over 20 minutes to play at a rather muted BMO Field.
You asked that question to Robin Fraser. I was interested to know, was that done purposely, bringing the players out to get the applause from the fans? And he said, no, I wanted to save them for Wednesday night. But if they can feel that appreciation, that's only going to help them. Different story tonight.
Engel penalized.
Bernadeschi, he didn't look happy coming out. But that would be with one eye towards their rivalry match. Montreal this weekend. You can bet he'll be expected to play a big part.
Oh, this is actually swept all the way through for Spicer, the substitute. His first touch is a cross that goes right across the face of goal with nobody there on the end of it. Well, it turned into a quite wonderful ball as Etienne Jr. made a move, and it just opened up in a way that we haven't really seen all night, the Cincinnati back line.
You got Spicer going down that left-hand side now. Brayden Hilson will be on the bench thinking, where was that ball? When I was on the pitch, I needed that service. But Cincinnati, it's rare that they've been opened up like that. First time tonight, really.
A moment for Toronto to take some hope from. The heat map is presented by IHG. 19 brands, 6,000 destinations. Download the app today and see the role of the man who's been the anchor at the heart of the defense.
And I always think that shows a player who is in the right positions, the middle of the back three. If you start seeing those dots go into the wide areas, it means they're chasing, they're scrambling. That for me shows, and it indicates a central defender of the three who's organizing players around him. Keeps himself in the main part of the pitch.
Robinson, a centre half. We've got two head coaches who actually came up against each other as players, because Pat Noonan was a striker, Robin Fraser a very decorated central defender, as we talked about in the first half. And Pat full of praise for Robin's achievements, while acknowledging he didn't ever get too close to him when he was on the field.
Didn't want to get too close to him. He had to be clever. Robin Fraser was so quick over ground that Pat Noonan, he had to be on his game extra sharp to be able to find some space.
Cincinnati won the ball, says the referee, so it's swung out to the right. This is Kubo. Yedlin had made the run. The interception was from Spicer.
Spicer's gone over to the left-hand side as Corbeanu has come to the right. Dominguez playing in what was Insigne's role, the number 10 role. Etienne Jr. up front. You can also understand why Corbeanu has stayed on the pitch. He's the only one really that has found a bit of joy in the attacking half tonight.
Dominguez.
It's moments like that where I think Robin Fraser would want Corbeanu to be going beyond. Instead, he just wants it defeat. Not getting beyond and breaking that back line of Cincinnati.
Etienne Jr. coming on as well in a central position, and we've seen him have to be employed as a makeshift striker this season. Absentees. Well, that's a ball for Corbeanu to chase, and with his pace, he's going to make it. Here's the cross. Hearts behind them all.
Tough one, though. He's had to dig it out. Not a bad ball from Coelho.
I think you could say about Corbeanu tonight and at the weekend, he certainly does cover some ground, and he's put the motors on a couple of times, and when he really gets going, he's pretty quick on the flat. Thompson combining with Corbeanu again. Etienne Jr. is the man in the middle at the moment, and Dominguez sits off.
So tough. There's one man in the box, Etienne Jr., and he's got Flores, he's got Robinson, Anunga right in front of him. There's not a lot of room for Toronto to play the ball into.
Stefanovic for Spicer. Coelho, nice control on his right foot, and he looks out of this side, but it was red, and Brunelli picked off by Engel, although good work then from Long to come in and snuff out the danger.
He wasn't messing about, was he, Long? Black boots on a centre back. You know what you're going to get.
Always a favourite. Extended starting run alongside Roster. They're the preferred pair at the moment. Max Wingo also among the injured. This is Spicer. Dominguez available. Spicer goes up against Yedlin, delivers the cross. Handy ball, but again, there's only two red shirts in there.
Etienne Jr. had already made his run near the near stick, and Corbeanu was looking for it, the far stick. It's good from Spicer. A couple times now, he's made a difference.
Quarter an hour to play here at BMO Field on Apple TV. And for as comfortable as Cincinnati have looked, there is only the one goal in this, and so it is very much still there for Toronto to rescue something.
That's exactly it. I mean, for the most part, Cincinnati have controlled this game on both sides of the ball, but all it takes is that one moment to go Toronto's way.
Just sense as well with the arrival of Spicer on the field, although he's offside. Corey Rockwell's flag is up on the near side here. It'll be a free kick, but it's just changed things a little bit and asked some questions of that back line for Cincinnati. There's Spicer. Could be Gold Cup bound, of course, Trinidad and Tobago international. Santos, the match winner for Cincinnati here last season, wins the free kick. This exclusive NetCam replay is brought to you by T-Mobile, and look at that bottom left of the screen, and standing tall, Sean Johnson. And if Toronto gets something tonight, it could be in large part down to that man, but he's got plenty to do here. That's Kubo spreading it, but into space and out for a throw. And at this point, Pat Noonan to make another change. Alvis Powell. And Hadebe comes out.
We knew coming into tonight, Hadebe, he would struggle to go the full 90 minutes. So Flores, he comes over to the left-hand side as Powell, he goes to the right. Played the trial game with his Jamaican side and Providence Park in Portland. Impressed.
This one's helped over the top for Spicer and controlled, and there is Powell, and he was calm when faced with his fellow Caribbean player.
He was good at closing down there, Powell. Spicer, his touch needed to be tidy because as soon as it got away from him slightly, Powell, he was there.
Dominguez with the touch, that's Etienne Jr. swinging it wide right. Corbeanu now, will they get more numbers in the middle? It's Corbenu's cross, it was a healthy one, and again it's Powell just onto the field with the crucial clearance. And that has just got this crowd into it a bit.
They're getting crosses in, they're getting service, but they're not getting the runs, and players gambling in the central areas. Etienne Jr. was completely away from it. Dominguez as well. Just a lack of that presence in the central area.
So he set up again, trying to find Spicer. Rosted had made a foray forward on that occasion, so you can see one or two gambles starting to be made now as we approach the last 10 minutes of regulation time. Wins in 4 on the road for FC Cincinnati.
It was quite interesting when you asked Pat Noonan, how does this team compare to a few years ago, and he said, well, the relationships, they're there, but we haven't quite connected to that same level on the pitch.
He's boosted his squad as well in recent days by adding yet more veteran presence to the team. Kai Kamara, his 12th MLS club now, his 147 goal tally is second in MLS. And he was signed earlier this week to the roster. In fact, it's actually the second time effectively he's crossed paths with Cincinnati. He was named in the expansion draft by Cincinnati and traded to Colorado, who at the time were coached by Robin Fraser. And it's all about the merits of Kai Kamara. Kamara will wear the number 85, and I'm told by our colleagues Tom Gellerherter at FC Cincinnati, it's a An ode to Chad Ochocinco, former Cincinnati Bengal, who actually had a trial at Sporting Kansas City in 2011 when Kamara was also there. It's easy enough with Kamara. You could say at Sporting Kansas City, at somewhere, at LAFC, when Kamara was there. He's been round the block in this league. 40 years of age.
There's great video then of Ochocinco with him on the training ground. Could he be? Could it be possible? I do think of that with Kamara. Well, the years have gone on, but they haven't gone on in his legs. He still has that bounce, still has that leap, and he gives Cincinnati something different in terms of that striker. Denke is very good at his hold-up play. But that presence and his aerial dominance, and it looks like we just might see it.
You'd think we had that all planned, wouldn't you? It looks like he is going to come on.
He's on cue.
Now then, this Cincinnati with another foray forward from Valenzuela. He's got support from Buka. A little touch for Santos. There's Kubo. They're trying to find a second and just put this game to bed now. Engels cross and then hit instinctively from Valenzuela, but another save for Sean Johnson.
Safe in the end. Good technique though from Valenzuela. Swivel a little bit, get a strike away.
He would love a goal tonight. It's his 50th appearance for FC Cincinnati, Valenzuela.
He scored a spectacular one on Saturday after the lovely pass off the outside of the boot from Evander.
The match momentum is presented by Old Spice. Take a look at the large chunks of blue there, including the goal from Denke in the first half, and just not enough red really. If you're the home team, you want more.
They've been so good, Cincinnati, at controlling the ball. That was the area where Pat Noonan said, because he's got more of a defensive mindset with the 11 he set out tonight. So how are we going to control the ball and find that balance? Well, they've done it. Kept things simple. Found the right moments to show a bit of flair, creativity. Not enough from Toronto. We've barely said the name Salentano tonight.
That Cincinnati center of the field as well. Buka and Anunga have combined very well. They've got Wobodo back from injury to come into this group. But again, they've been largely untroubled, but it remains just a one-goal lead as Powell holds off Spicer. It'll be a throw to Toronto. And with his 12th MLS club, 40-year-old Kai Kamara getting set to make his FC Cincinnati debut. 147 goals in this league for the veteran. He replaces Dado Valenzuela. Holding back time. And Kamara into the game. Was a spectator at TQL Stadium at the weekend. He's straight onto the field, and it's defensive duties for the Cincinnati group from the long throw which comes in from the left, flicked on by Long, but there was a push in the process. It's a free kick.
Long a bit upset, feeling as though he's gone to ground a bit too easy. Hasn't stood up to battle. Just difficult. You don't see how this goal is going to come about for Toronto. It's still there for them. If they could salvage a point, turn it around and go get a good result against Montreal, all of a sudden you're looking at a really good week. They need that goal.
Another end of the spectrum coming in here tonight. 6 wins in 7 for Cincinnati, so on course now. 5 minutes plus change away from a 7th in 8. We won 5 straight from March 22nd to April 26th. his heady days. And Ross, you mentioned that conversation we had with Pat Noonan about the team that won the Supporters' Shield in 2023. Technically, points per game, they're on pace at the moment to go better. Just 1 point better at 70 points from the 69 that they would win that year. But here's Corbeanu, and chested down and cleared away. Santos with the header. Wide it goes to Spicer. He's got Dominguez lurking on the edge of the box. Only Etienne in there. That's off the referee. But possession still with Toronto. Net the ball in, and Dominguez won't reach it.
It wasn't a bad ball. Dominguez, he hesitated for half a second. That was enough to let the ball carry out.
Well, we've talked about it a bit tonight. Hell is real. 7 o'clock Eastern this Saturday night. Cincinnati go to Columbus. Watch it live on MLS Season Pass from Apple TV on a day of games which feature rivalries right across the slate. It'll start with us up in Montreal to bring you Toronto's trip there. It'll finish with Seattle and Portland, and then of course the Sunday night soccer double-header on Sunday, which includes El Tráfico, which has a slightly different complexion to it than what we might have thought back at the beginning of the season. LAFC themselves place in the Club World Cup. They'll take on Club America at the end of the month, and the prize to join 31 of the world's best league clubs. Sergio Santos turns, feeds Yuya Kubo. Engel is making a run. Here he is now. It's a good run. And he's got two in the middle. He plays it in, and that's well fetched by the safe hands of Sean Johnson.
He just read the game so well tonight, Johnson.
Final 2 minutes, plus stoppages to come.
Well, it's been quiet, quite quiet in the stands tonight. Results elsewhere for Toronto sports fans. Hockey fans hasn't gone their way either.
Nope. Yes, a little bit of a night for reflection, it seems. All is not lost on the hockey rink, and it certainly isn't on the football pitch. But nevertheless, that's a challenge on Kubo just inside the box. He's got back to his feet. Cleared away by Rosted. That was Powell. Straight off Flores, broken up by Dominguez. He brings it away now. He's got a runner to his right. It's Corbeanu. What's he got left in his legs? In the final minute of regulation, Corbeanu battling and winning a free kick. Engel didn't really need to be that physical, but he's presented Toronto now with a real opportunity in the final minute.
Silly free kick to give away. He's there, Engel. He's there with his body, but then he extends his arms, and it's an obvious push. Just watch the two arms going out. Corbeanu, he's being sneaky, just holding on to Engel's shirt. He's disguised it. Out of frustration, Engel sends him to ground, and all of a sudden he gives hope. It's a good ball, though. Coelho won the ball. He's got to hang something up nicely for the big man of Toronto to go and attack.
Added time is presented by Audi, and as we go into that 3 minutes of added time, Coelho to deliver the free kick for Toronto. Red shirts poised, Coelho's ball in, and it was Rosted there, and then followed up and over the top, and behind it goes from Dominguez. Well, that sums up the night for TFC. It's a goal kick. And time ticking away.
Well, it was well defended from Santos. The striker for Cincinnati came back to win that header. Received a few high fives after it. Dominguez, he was stretching at it. reaching to try and get his foot on top of the ball. Seen enough from him as well. Just playing in that pocket underneath Etienne Jr.
He's still looking for his first MLS strike of this loan spell. It's for one Correggio going in there. Sergio Santos, who in the 93rd minute last year would win this game for Cincinnati.
Kupo has taken one. The high boot of Correggio, but Kupo, he was going down into it with his head. He is built to steal that, man, for Pat Noonan's team. My goodness.
There's a new meaning to the word dependable and versatile, doesn't he?
Always makes himself available.
Well, they've done this tonight without Hugo Orachado, who scored 2 here last season in what was a bit of a breakout game for him at the time. Santos has gone through the back there, so it's a free kick, and this could be just about the last chance really for TFC to launch it long and try and get something off the scraps, as Santos gave away the free kick. It's launched long. Etienne Jr. misses the header though. That's Robinson, and Etienne Jr. finds Corbeanu. Can he win the pace battle down the flank? Needs some numbers in the middle. It needs good delivery as well. He lays it back, and it's Thompson's cross, headed away by Onunga. Turned back in by Rosted. Another clearance. Powell, the substitute, stepping in. Stefanovic now. Final 30 seconds at BMO Field. Toronto are looking for an equaliser. It's Thompson. It's Corbeanu. Cincinnati dropping back, trying to hold firm. The cross hung up. Spicer's header. A comfortable catch for Celentano, and that could be that on the night.
Well, they're in a good area, advanced area, but not the best of balls for Corbeanu. Not a lot of pace on it, too much loft. It's always going to be difficult for a player to go and attack that. Not enough numbers as well. You're desperate for a goal. You should just be throwing everything forward.
It's the final whistle. Toronto shut out at home again. As the Eastern Conference leaders, FC Cincinnati, led by Pat Noonan, claim a 4th straight victory at BMO Field, and it's Denke who's delivered for them. Fine individual 18th minute goal from the $16 million signing, and it was enough to give them all 3 points, and they will head to the Hellersville derby in fine fettle this week. This is the player of the match, and no surprises, it is Kevin Denke for a match-winning performance.
Well, Cincinnati went out and they spent big money in this position to produce a bigger magic, and he's been doing it quite regularly, and this is one of the better ones as well, just showing off every skill attribute. Body balance, his ability to get himself to a good area, and then that final touch, left foot curler into the top pin. What a player. Every match we're either talking about Evander or we're talking about this man, sometimes both of them. What a goal that was for his side, and then they just saw out the result from there.
And another night of frustration for Toronto, not just beaten here tonight, but again shut out, and that will be a concern for Robin Fraser, the lack of goal scoring coming from his side as they face such a big game coming up this weekend. A greeting and a hug there for Nick Hagland, of course part of the great Toronto treble winning side, and Robin Fraser part of that, and wanting to bring some of those good times back to Toronto, but it's a lot of toil at the moment for this group. Denke does the business for Cincinnati. They win by 1-0. Highlights and reaction after the break.
At RBC Wealth Management, we know you have ideas for your future. Ideas that can have you enjoying the moment or owning the moment. They can bring investment opportunities or opportunities to invest in yourself. Ideas that can have you doing good or feeling great. From following your passion to making your passion work for you. What ideas will you bring to life? Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
You ready? MLS is game on. Dolce? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends? On. Rivalries on.
Versus New York City.
MLS. This is our soccer. Game on.